Red pill or blue pill. If you've watched the popular film The Matrix, you'll remember in one particular scene, Neo, the main character, is given a choice. He could either take the blue or the red pill, a decision between the blissful ignorance of illusion and discovering the absolute truth underlying reality. Choosing to swallow the red pill, Neo discovers the truth, however horrible it may be. He discovers that he's been experiencing a simulation-like reality all along and is now actually living in reality. But that's just a film, right? Well, the answer is not as simple as you might think. In today's society, where an army of CGI influencers are creating content online, Google's own LaMDA AI is declared to be sentient, or when deepfakes are a legitimate threat, then anything is possible. One of the greatest scientific breakthroughs of our time, artificial intelligence, has reignited the age-old debate on the nature of consciousness, the human mind, and the fundamental question of what life is, or why we are here. It's not new to consider the possibility that the world and reality itself are simulations. Similar theories date back to ancient Greece, when a number of philosophers from different parts of the world hinted that reality might be an illusion. The allegory of the cave by Plato is one such illustration. The first section is as follows. Imagine a cave where people had lived their entire lives in captivity. They are compelled to look at the wall in front of them constantly. They are unable to look outside of the cave, each other, or themselves. They only know this wall. A walkway separates the captives from the fire, which is behind the prisoners. Shadows are cast on the walls. As individuals move close to the fire and the inmates mistake the shadows to be real because they don't know any better. And when a bystander speaks, the inmates think it's the shadows speaking. They wrongly believe that this partial reality they can sense is the whole truth, since they are unaware that the shadows on the walls are only a partial representation of reality. This allegory can be interpreted in a variety of ways and used to discuss a wide range of subjects. It might be seen as a metaphor for human ignorance and our unwillingness to seek out truth and wisdom. Or it can be seen as a way of grasping the significance of knowledge and how it influences reality. Could our perception of reality be a shadow of something else, similar to the shadows in this cave? There is currently a topic of physics and cosmology termed digital physics, which is a collection of theoretical viewpoints founded on the idea that the cosmos can be described by information and is therefore calculable. And some of these physicists are genuinely investigating the possibility that our universe might be a computer simulation, popularly known as the simulation hypothesis. Zhuang-Zhou, a philosopher from China, likened his existence to a dream in which he imagined himself to be a butterfly. If both may appear to be equally genuine, he wondered how to tell the difference between reality and a dream. Master Zhuang describes his butterfly dream as, once Zhuang-Zhou dreamed he was a butterfly flitting and fluttering about, happy with himself and doing as he pleased. He didn't know that he was Zhuang-Zhou. Suddenly, he woke up and there he was, solid and unmistakable Zhuang-Zhou. But he didn't know if he was Zhuang-Zhou who dreamt he was a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming that he was Zhuang-Zhou. Unless you have mastered the ability to lucid dream, when we sleep most of the time, we are unaware that this is a dream. Of course, we wake up and laugh at ourselves for believing the incredulous nightmare we just experienced. But when we are asleep, the dream world around us is very real. Could this reality be a dream? Are we at some point going to wake up? This is aptly portrayed in the movie Inception, where reality, subconsciousness, and the dream world is so entangled that we sometimes are unable to tell the difference. Elon Musk stirred some controversy by claiming that we were likely living in a simulation, as he often does. According to his reasoning, if technology continues to advance at current rate, It will soon be impossible to tell video games apart from reality. Are we all characters in someone's supercomputer? Do we emulate cosmic overlords like we mimic Fortnite characters? Let's discuss a few ideas. Video games, in which we control a certain character on the screen and embark on numerous adventures, are popular worldwide. But as technology advances, program visuals and detailing get better and better, and characters on screens start to seem more real than ever. How do we know if we are participating in a simulation? Do the characters in our video games understand they are not actual people, but rather part of zeros and ones coded computer programs? How do we determine what is real? In simple terms, anything we can perceive with our five senses is reality. What senses do characters in video games have? Similar to how the neural network in our brain governs our body, an artificial system can be controlled by an artificial neural network, or ANN, which has undergone a lot of advancement in recent years. Theoretically, it's conceivable that we're in a simulation right now, and that we can mimic a time in the distant future when we'll have advanced technology. The question of how we can do it and whether it's genuinely feasible still exists. What do you think of the simulation theory that describes reality? Do you believe that we're merely actors in a technologically sophisticated simulation? Nick Bostrom, a Swedish philosopher with training in theoretical physics, computational neuroscience, logic, and artificial intelligence, is credited with popularizing computer simulation theory. He postulated that there is a large chance that all of mankind will evolve to a level where we will be able to simulate our forebears. The post-human stage is defined by the period in which humans will achieve technological dominance and be able to construct massive supercomputers with the processing power and memory to create simulations of Earth's history. The simulation hypothesis was put forth by philosopher Nick Bostrom in 2003. Instead of just asserting that we are in a simulation, Bostrom offers three hypotheses and claims that at least one of them is almost definitely correct. These suggestions are as follows. The fraction of civilizations that reach a stage where they are capable of running simulations good enough to fool their inhabitants is very close to zero. The fraction of such civilizations that are interested in running simulations is very close to zero. The fraction of all people with our kind of experiences that are living in a simulation is very close to 1. If you believe that some society in the far future will be able to do this, but will not even be slightly interested in doing so, then statement number 2 is accurate. However, if you believe that one day someone will figure out how to conduct extremely complex simulations, and that at least one person will accomplish it, then statement number 3 is nearly certainly accurate. It is more likely that we are in a simulation if such simulations are feasible and deployed, since there will be many more of them than there are of regular realities. Currently, we are simulating bigger and more complicated systems thanks to the advancements made in our numerous simulations. For instance, the game No Man's Sky garnered a lot of attention a few years ago for its randomly generated open universe. In other words, given what we know right now, there isn't really any reason for us to believe that propositions 1 and 2 are true. The remaining number is 3. Should we care about ethics or morality if our reality is false? Our acts have no influence on the nature of the universe and the true world, and we become self-aware of this. Of course, I'm not saying that all criminals, killers, and the morally inept are experiencing life outside of the simulation. But in video games such as Grand Theft Auto or other open-world games, are you considering morals when you know there's no consequence? Whether or not people think they are in a simulation, according to Bostrom, individuals should behave appropriately because there is always the potential that their assumptions are wrong. The effects of our activities, however, would become meaningless if we firmly believe that we are participating in some sort of simulation and are proven to be right in this assumption. Simultaneously, developments in biotechnology, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, in other fields, are continuing to make simulations more credible. We can also observe that as technology advances, our ability to depict the world, both today and in the past, tends to improve. It is plausible to believe that, in the future 1,000 years, 100,000 years when these developments and our interest in building world simulations continue, there won't be any discernible difference between reality and simulation. At that time, it will imply that artificial entities with consciousness have been produced. Will there ever be a moment when we won't need to worry about the future and can simply run simulations of every possible outcome and choose the best path based on the results? Or are we already a part of a simulation being run by a species that existed before humans to study how the cosmos develops? Or are we merely a science experiment for a person who defies the laws of physics? Or are we just living in some higher being's game that could be turned off at any time? So, what will it be? Red or blue?